Hello, New Jersey. Good evening, good night, good morning. It's the first of what is sure to be a sequence of long nights for anyone who's in the forecasting business. We do have another winter storm looking to affect us now. Looks like Wednesday and Wednesday night, mostly here in New Jersey. I did mention in an email prior that there were still some chances for things to change as far as the time frame where things would affect us. A few days ago, it did look like this was going to be a Tuesday into Wednesday storm. Now it does look like it's mostly going to be a Wednesday storm. So Tuesday, you're out of the woods and you're in the clear. And in fact, as of 3 o'clock in the morning, the time this forecast is going out, the National Weather Service still hasn't put up any winter storm watches. Certainly not a warning or anything like that. So there is still some time for things to change with this one, but things are certainly starting to come in line. First, we're going to take a look at the satellite loop. You can see on the satellite here, this is the water vapor loop rather, you can see our storm already starting to form down here in the Gulf of Mexico. As I said yesterday, this is a Miller A, or a low that starts down in the Gulf and then makes its way up the east coast before moving out to sea towards Nova Scotia. So you can see here a lot of convection starting to fire in the Gulf of Mexico and a lot of moisture streaming up north from the Gulf into the Gulf states. And actually that's the next thing I'm going to show is just how much moisture is moving from the Gulf into adjacent states. This is the 700 millibar map. The green is the amount of humidity in the air. 90 is 90%, 95 is 95%. The arrows are wind vectors, so that is the direction that the wind is blowing. And you can see here this is at hour 6. This is from the 0Z GFS, which started at 7 o'clock last night, so 6 hours out. This was valid at 1 o'clock in the morning a couple hours ago. You can see a lot of arrows pointing, from the Gulf towards Alabama, Mississippi. A lot of arrows moving from where the water is up towards where the states are. And as we go out in time, this is valid at 4 o'clock in the morning, and this is valid at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can just see the green starting to spread. As we say in the forecasting business, the Gulf is open for business as we have a lot of moisture moving from the Gulf into the lower 48. So the storm that we have coming up will certainly have a lot of moisture to work with. Gulf flows always do, and certainly could be setting the stage for significant snowfall once again. Another thing you can see actually throughout the evening and towards morning, you can see some moisture over New Jersey as it is. We do have cloud cover outside, and really that helps temperatures stay much warmer than they could have been, certainly much more warmer than they were the past couple of nights. Last night I think we went down to 2 degrees where I am in Somerset County. So tonight, much different story with cloud cover. Clouds act as a blanket and pretty much keep temperatures that warm up over the state during the daytime and keep it warm overnight. Can't really lose that heat. It's called radiational cooling, which is maximized by clear skies. So we don't have that with the cloud cover, and that's why we're going to start the day tomorrow with a little bit warmer of a morning commute than you've had the past couple of days. Next thing I want to show, this is the QPF, or the amount of liquid that is projected to fall. All these maps are coming from the GFS if you're following along at home. Anyhow, this is when we're expecting precipitation to start here in New Jersey. This is 36 hours out from 0Z, so that's 7 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. You can see some grays starting to appear here over New Jersey, and as we go out in time, this is 10 o'clock in the morning. Much of the same. It's very, very light. It's going to be very light throughout the day on Wednesday. In fact, it could even be a break in the precipitation. It'll certainly be minor, and I do think that what we're seeing here in this time is rain for much of the state, at least for South Jersey, south of 195, Philadelphia, and points south and east. I think we're looking at rain, maybe sleet towards the 195 corridor, over one corridor. If moisture even makes it that far north into northwest New Jersey, it will be snow, but it looks like it will take a long time to get there. And a lot of the models have suggested that this sort of two-wave feature where you have moisture out ahead of the main batch for several runs now, so I certainly think that there's some credence to it, and I am buying along in with that. So right now it looks like Wednesday during the day, just some light stuff, more nuisance type precipitation, and again rain south and east of Philadelphia and 195, points north and east could be sleet or even plain rain there. I'm going to show you here, this is the forecast sounding. This is for Trenton, and we're going to jump back a little bit here in time, and this is hour 48. So this is valid at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. And here in Trenton, this is the zero line, or the freezing line. You can see as we move sort of diagonal here in the atmosphere. You can see there is a layer of warm air that is, well, I wouldn't call that warm, but a little bit above freezing here in between 850 millibars and 700 millibars. So while we do have a saturated air mass at 700 and at 600 millibars, this is where the snowflakes form, and it is below zero there, although it's not ideal for snowflake growth. While there are ice crystals falling, this could be turning to sleet. This looks like a snow and sleet, maybe a grapple profile. Grapple's like that sort of crappy kind of snow, not the big pretty flakes, but sort of like the little, I really don't know what to call it other than grapple. So this is not an ideal temperature profile for snowfall, but as we move out in time, and we'll go just 6 hours into the future, but this is from 7 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday to 1 in the morning on Thursday. And now, well, look at that, we're saturated from the surface all the way up to 300 millibars. This is, like I said, a lot of moisture to work with. The whole column is below freezing and well below freezing. We do have some of the better snow growth temperatures. You want typically -10 to -20, and you want it to be between 500 and 700 millibars. So now we are getting the big heavy snow. Winds out of the north and the northwest at all levels. So definitely looks like temperatures really crash throughout the evening on Wednesday, and I really would not suggest being on the roads Wednesday night. This is Atlantic City, and same story at 48 hours. Their profile is pretty warm. This is rain. This is plain rain profile, or above freezing from 700 millibars all the way down to the surface. But even here, as we go out just 6 hours into the future to 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, they're below freezing everywhere as well. So I do think snow makes it all the way to the coast, all the way down to South Jersey, although they'll definitely see less. The changeover will happen west to east and north to south, of course, but I do think that everyone does see snow by the time it's all said and done with. Next thing I want to show here, this is the 850 millibar map. Just want to show why we're going to see that heavy precip. Something to show here, you can see the strongest winds on the south and the east side of the 850 millibar low. And then as we go out in time, this is right here is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. And as we head towards the evening, right when we're starting to see those temperatures fall, you can see some gray making its way here off the water. This is a little bit of a developing moisture feed off the Atlantic, and then by the time we go to 48 hours, we're going to see much stronger winds starting to back in from the north and east. This is the development of what we call cold conveyor belt. It's a big buzzword in the weather world right now, and when you start to see these winds wrapping around from the east and from the north onto this side of the low, and you see yourself in some of those brighter colors, that's when you can really start to expect to see some of the heaviest snowfall. So 850 millibar low just east of the Delmarva, and winds starting to really pack a punch from the northeast, and that's why between 48 and 54 hours, which is 7 o'clock Wednesday evening and 1 o'clock Thursday morning, that's when I think we really get walloped with some heavy snow. And sure enough, here is the liquid equivalent between those hours of 7 to 1. And anyone who's in yellow is half an inch of liquid. If you take a 10 to 1 snow to rainfall ratio, that's 5 inches. I do think we'll see heavier ratios than that. I think that we'll really see some rapid deepening of the low. I think we'll see some banding. I think we'll see some heavy winds for a brief period of time. I don't think we'll see any blizzard warnings posted, but I do think blizzard conditions are possible along the immediate coastline. For a blizzard, you need 3 hours of blizzard conditions, and I don't think we'll see that sustained to that extent. But I do think that there will be a brief period close to blizzard conditions if we don't meet that requirement. Just one more map to show you. This is part of the reason that I think we see the rapid deepening. Low pressure storms systems deepen when the lows are not stacked at all levels. When the low is completely on top of itself at every level higher in the atmosphere, it's sort of like being in the bottom of a hole and trying to dig deeper, but taking the sand or the dirt and just throwing it up and not being able to throw it up onto the top of the pit that you're sitting in. It just falls back down on you. So what you want to see is you want to see the lows at every level displaced a little bit. So here we are at 500 millibars. This is halfway up in the atmosphere if you're considering a pressure scale. And the 500 millibar low is on the North Carolina-Virginia border. We go a little bit lower in the atmosphere. This is 700 millibars. We see the low just off the Virginia Maritimes. We go down to 850 millibars. We already know where that is. That's just east of the Delmarva. One step lower to 925 millibars. We're getting closer to the surface now, and that's a little bit further east, and then right down to the very surface. And that low pressure is just a bit further east as well. So we see the lows are close to, but not completely stacked. So we don't have the occlusion just yet. This will be the period of the most rapid deepening of the storm. I think the hours of 7 o'clock tomorrow to 1 o'clock, or rather 7 o'clock on Wednesday evening to 1 o'clock Thursday morning is really the height of the storm. And when I think when you wake up on Thursday, it's over with. I think you should wake up to sunshine, although it will be chilly once again. Here's the snowfall totals, and if I had to tweak these, I would probably change this map so it had a little bit more of a southwest to northeast orientation, but I think that this is a pretty safe bet. Again, I'm expecting some pretty strong heavy snows on Wednesday night, some banding, some snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour. And again, I think the reason that South Jersey gets left out is just because some of their moisture gets lost to rainfall and sleet. But I do think everyone sees snow, and the question will just be how long do they have to plow it before the commute starts on Thursday. So I'll have another update coming out tomorrow, probably tomorrow night, but it'll be well ahead of the storm, which I think we probably still have about 36 to 45 hours before it affects us. So plenty of time for things to change, but I do feel fairly good about this one right now, and I'll have an update when it is required. Until then,